which was taken by Lindsay Hill herself the morning after she claimed she was brutally attacked, emotionally traumatized, and desperate to get away.
It would have been more intelligent for him to just pay her off at the time. So today we're going to talk about a topic that really goes through why there's no incentive to be a good person. If you think that you are going to be rewarded for being a good person, prepare to go literally insane in this world. Now, I want to talk about the first time I saw this, right? I remember being in school and I did not notice a lack of relationships from the women that chose to sleep with a ton of people. I really didn't. The women that went buck wild seemed to be have opportunities thrown at them when it came to relationships. Now, this isn't what I wanted to be true. This isn't what I hoped to be true, but I was just looking around. You know, they banged enough guys and eventually one of them wanted to marry or be with them. In fact, one of the, I would say, sluttiest women that I knew at the time actually has been in the longest relationship. And I'm not saying this is good or bad. I'm just saying that that's what I saw. And I think a lot of people go through life, I certainly did, thinking that there would be some kind of reward on earth for being a good person. But the older I get, I do see people's, lives maybe catch up to them over 20 or 30 years, but they get 20 or 30 years of, being a bad person before life catches up to them. So if you think that there's some reward on earth, in the afterlife, who can say, for being a good moral person, you're going to go through a life of disappointment. So we got to talk about this topic. Welcome to another episode of Pearl Daily. So we all know that rich and powerful men are targets for predatory women, and these women are looking to get access to a rich man's money by any means necessary, whether it's through marriage, divorce, child support, or false accusations. These women are predators, and there's no other ways to describe them, with the false accusers being the worst among them. The strategy is to get money from a rich man, ruin his reputation, and spend all of that money on a lifestyle that they won't ever be able to afford by themselves. Now, despite an emerging movement to inform men that this is happening, rich and powerful men are still getting extorted by these women. For 304s, it's a win. Hoes are going to keep winning. And I would say that this could be considered... the ultimate win for a 304. So recently, Shannon Sharpe got by an OnlyFans model. Wait, hold on. Oh, it's... Okay. All right. So for 304s, this is a win. I wish that this could be considered an ultimate win for a 304. We got to think about it. If a 304 gets a payout from a rich guy, this is what usually happens. The 304 doesn't have to work again. They get to build a social media following off of the reputation of that man that they ruined to get their money. They get to sleep with hot young losers well into their 40s and 50s, and they get to live every woman's dream of being rich for doing nothing and being able to sleep with attractive men or being a side chick to a powerful man. It's all upside to these women, and we got to start thinking about it from this way. What is the incentive? So if a woman marries an average man, what does she get out of it? Now, we have to look at this through the lens of a woman. Women like excitement. Women like hot guys. Women like freedom. And you got to think about it. Nobody really likes being told what to do. Men just accept it's part of life. But, so women's upside is they want all the freedom with none of the responsibility of being in a relationship. And 304s are winning. That's what we're seeing outside. Women with OnlyFans, women that are strippers with boyfriends, women being able to do whatever the hell we want without the responsibility of getting along with another person. So when a 304 wins by successfully extorting a rich and powerful man for money. So in 2021, Lindsay Hall accuser Major League Baseball player Travis Barker of sexual assault. He was immediately dismissed from the LA Dodgers without a chance to defend himself. Let's look at this.
Next victim, star pitcher for the Dodgers. A text Lindsey Hill sent to a friend before she ever even met me. What should I steal? She asked another in reference to visiting my house for the first time. The answer? Take his money. So how might that work? I'm going to his house Wednesday, she said. I already have my hooks in. You know how I roll. Then, after the first time we met, net worth is 51 mil, she said. Bitch, you better secure the bag, was the response. But how is she going to do that? Need daddy to choke me out, she said, being an absolute whore to try to get in on his 51 million.
And by the way, it worked. We got to stop looking at these women as we got to take morality out of it. This woman would have no chance in hell of getting a guy who just signed a $51 million contract to commit. Her choice is extort, rich men, or marry an average man. She marries an average man, she has to live where he wants to live, be under his roof, and have sex with someone she's not really attracted to. Or the hoe can have sex with someone she's attracted to, and when it doesn't work out, cry rape and get his money. It's a win for the hoes win. They really do.
Read another text. Then, after the second time we met, former Padres pitcher Jacob Nix told her, you got to get this bag. I'll give you $50,000, Lindsay replied. Her AA sponsor asked her at one point, do you feel a tiny bit guilty? Not really, she replied. Since then, her legal team has approached me multiple times about coming to a financial settlement. But as I have done since day one, I refuse to pay her even a single cent. In August of 2021, Lindsey Hill's claims were heard in court. And during those legal proceedings, critical information was deliberately and unlawfully concealed from me and my legal team. Information like this video, which was taken by Lindsey Hill herself the morning after she claimed she was brutally attacked, emotionally traumatized, and desperate to get away.
It would have been more intelligent for him to just pay her off at the time. Unfortunately, he lost his career. I mean, as an athlete, taking a few years off, that's suicide. It is suicide, especially when you're young.
Wait for me. And now we have the metadata, so there can be no dispute. It was taken mere minutes before she left my house on the morning of May 16th, 2021, without my knowledge or consent, of course. In it, you can see her lying in bed next to me while I'm sleeping.
And this is the other cost of dating women, right? You lose privacy because women are always talking about the men we're interested in, taking videos, pictures, etc. Oftentimes collecting information to cry abuse later.
Smirking at the camera without a care in the world, or any marks on her face. I think it paints a pretty clear picture of what actually happened the evening of May 15th and why the video was originally concealed from us. After hearing the evidence available to her, Judge Diana Gold-Saltman found that Lindsey Hill had misled the court. She found her claims to be materially misleading. She denied her request for a domestic violence restraining order, and she found that no sexual assault or non-consensual conduct took place. Now, some of you might not know about restraining order hearings. I know.
Now, this is an example. Someone in the chat says this is an example of just because you can doesn't mean you should. Now, I'd like to say this. If you do the right thing as a person, I would suggest doing the right thing because you believe it's the right thing, not because you expect to get anything out of it. If you treat women well, treat them well because you want to treat them well. But if you expect loyalty or anything back in return, you're going to want to shoot yourself in the face. If as a woman, one black pilling experience for me. And this was so black pilling. I have a friend that got a certain surgery. And to see the increase in attention that this woman got after said surgery was black pilling. I always thought, no, go natural. Natural's so much better. It's more moral. It's immoral to do stuff. Yeah. It's just simply not true. I've seen surgeries change women's lives. And I know what you're thinking, but Pearl, those men just want to sleep with those women, not wife them. Well, the men are adapting to the market, and now they're marrying OnlyFans models and 304s. And you like to say, and the thing is, the other blackpilling thing is all the guys that say they wouldn't do it, right? The amount of, what was blackpilling for me was the amount of men I saw fold the second they got a little bit of female attention from said groups that they said they would never date. So again, don't get surgeries because that's a personal thing. Not because you expect to get better men or higher class men because of it. And we could talk about witch surgeries because some are very trashy. I don't recommend them all. Don't falsely accuse a guy or do any of that because you expect or because you want to do the right thing personally as a person. Not because you expect to have better outcomes in life. A lot of these women can and will have better outcomes.
I didn't. But I've since learned that it's extremely rare for a request for a restraining order to be denied because the standard of proof that you need.
It's crazy how many female celebrities had fake boobs and had health issues and got them taken out. It's just not true. I've looked into it. Some get them taken out, but percentage-wise, it's just not a high percentage, unfortunately. The satisfaction rate is like 98%. Face it, our generation is in a testosterone crisis thanks to modern lifestyle, poor diet, and environmental toxins. Low testosterone can sabotage your health and vitality. Reclaim your edge and bring your levels back to where they belong so you can live stronger, healthier, and with purpose. That's where Man's Edge from Neutronics Labs comes in. The powerful formula combines 4 clinically proven ingredients: fenugreek, IGF-1, NO2, and Tongkat Ali to ignite your body's own testosterone factory. Studies show fenugreek, along with IGF-1 and other clinically backed ingredients in Man's Edge, can help boost your testosterone up by 46%. Plus, Man's Edge patented liposome delivery has up to 98% absorption, far better than your typical powders or pills. So, you can actually feel the difference. Right now, you can save 50% on all orders when you auto ship and use my code PEARL. Get the edge today and don't settle for anything less. Visit getmansedge.com and reclaim your vitality today. I don't enjoy this. I don't enjoy being the bearer of bad news, but the reason they sell this stuff is because it works. Unfortunately.
To obtain one is extremely low. So you can make of that what you will. The fact is, I was never arrested. I was never charged with a crime, and I won the only legal proceeding that took place without my side of the story even being heard. And most importantly, as I've said from day one, I never sexually assaulted Lindsay Hill, or anyone else for that matter. So I sued her, which prompted her to countersue me. Quite frankly, regardless of the outcome in court, I've paid significantly more in legal fees than Lindsay Hill could ever pay me in her entire life. And I knew that would be the case going in. But the lawsuit was never about the money for me. It was the only way for me to obtain critical information to clear my name. The discovery process in that lawsuit recently concluded, at which point Lindsay Hill's legal team again came to us with another proposal to resolve the case. This time, however, they weren't seeking any money from me. Having received much of the information that had been hidden from us, a small portion of which I've referenced here, I was willing to agree to the terms proposed. Both parties would drop their respective lawsuits, and neither of us would pay either side any money. I also retained my right to speak publicly about the case, something I have not been at liberty to do since June of 2021. So, as of today, both lawsuits have been settled. Now, over the last 2 years, I've been forced to defend my integrity and my reputation in a very public setting. But hopefully this is the last time I have to do so, as I'd prefer to just remain focused on doing my job, winning baseball games and entertaining fans around the world. So today, I'm happy to be moving on with my life.
There it is. All right, let's see who's next. So we're going to read an article from the New York Post. Ugly Trevor Bauer Lindsay Hill tale reveals just how broken society is. The ugly saga of Trevor Bauer and Lindsay Hill continues, reminding America that the culture around casual hookups is a factory for conflict, pain, and unhappiness. Hill accused Bauer of sexual assault. This cost him a 324-game suspension from his sport as a pitcher for the LA Dodgers. No criminal charges were ever filed. The two sued each other and fought out all the claims from a behind-the-scenes legal battle for years. Now the case has settled with no money changing hands, and Bauer has debuted evidence that seriously undermines Hill's claims, including a text message where she refers to him as her next victim, and a video showing her smiling and unharmed right after the assault allegedly took place. Even in the most charitable interpretation of Hill's actions, she seems utterly lost. And the straightforward one that she picked Bauer out due to his status and his wealth, was brutally victimized while being egged on by her friends, could only take place in a world with no meaningful moral guidance or taboos. That's the result of the generational effort to grind down in the name of the greater autonomy, many of the social protections young women once enjoyed, and the generational effort to glorify casual sex for young men and women. It's also symptomatic of the larger relativism that's been poisoning us since the late 1960s, a drive to brand feelings of guilt and shame as inherently bad. Yet a curious censor seriousness is in play here. Note that all it took for Bauer to lose the career he had earned via years of hard work was a few allegations. That's the result of Me Too principles. The presume all men are guilty until proven innocent. An attitude, however wrong-headed, arose because many horrible men, especially powerful ones, got away with being vile for so long. When the police failed to file charges, was Bauer resuspended? No, plainly because Major League Baseball was too cowarded by the fear of the woke wrath. Did journalists rush to get to the truth of what happened? No. Legacy media rushed to condemn Bauer. One report stands accused of knowingly sharing false accusations about the pitcher. The traditional rules around sex and love were surely imperfect, but at least they were rooted in an understanding of the profound powers of these forces of the emotional, physical, and even spiritual stakes. Toss out, in the name of a false concept of freedom without consequences, outsource what passes for moral and judgment to institutions obsessed with only their own bottom lines, and you guarantee a world full of hurt. So this woman got paid out like $300K from the insurance. So while Trevor didn't have to pay any money to Lindsay personally, he still lost years of his baseball career, and his insurance had paid her over $300,000. Recently, Shannon Sharpe, the Super Bowl winning sportscaster, was accused of sexual assault in a lawsuit by a 22-year-old OnlyFans model that he was sleeping with for over 2 years. So we're going to watch this video.
NFL Hall of Famer and Georgia native Shannon Sharpe is now facing a $50 million civil lawsuit. He's accused of rape and emotional abuse by a woman he met in 2023. That lawsuit claims that Sharpe was violent and controlling during their nearly 2-year relationship, alleging sexual assaults in October and again in January. Sharpe, who played 14 seasons in the NFL after starring at Savannah State.
Now, we got to think about Shannon Sharpe. This is like a bachelor, never married, no kids. What's her chance of getting commitment from him? About not being crazy long enough to get him to commit? It's like zero. What's her chance of getting his attention through OnlyFans, social media, and extorting him for money? Much better.
It denies the...
Oh, he has 3 kids? I thought you said earlier that he didn't. Okay. Regardless. Okay.
Allegations. In fact, he just released a video today calling it a shakedown. His attorney also calling the lawsuit a blatant attempt to extort him.
Okay, let's see who's next. Gabrielle Zuniga, the OnlyFans model that accused Shannon Sharpe, retired from OnlyFans after the case was settled. So Shannon Sharpe settles $50 million lawsuit with a woman who accused him of grape. I'm going to say grape for the stream. All right, a $50 million lawsuit that accused Shannon Sharpe of rape has been settled. Attorney Tony Busby, whose firm represented a Jane Doe who filed the civil lawsuit against the retired NFL star and sports media personality earlier this year, announced the settlement on Friday afternoon in a stated post on Instagram. After protracted and respectful negotiations, I'm pleased to announce that we all have reached a mutually agreed upon resolution. All matters have been addressed satisfactorily and the matter is closed. The lawsuit will thus be dismissed with prejudice. Terms of the settlement were not disclosed. Sharpe's legal team confirmed to the Times that a settlement has been reached and that Busby's statement could be considered the final word on the matter. According to the lawsuit filed on April 20th in Clark County, Nevada, Sharpe and his accuser met at an LA gym in 2023 when he was 54 and she was 20. They ended up having a rocky consensual relationship that lasted nearly 2 years, the lawsuit stated. Sharpe's accuser sought damages for claims of assault, sexual battery, and intentional infliction of emotional distress after multiple alleged non-consensual encounters at her Las Vegas apartment between October and January. Sharpe has denied the allegations. One of his attorneys, Lanny Davis, told reporters in April that Sharpe had offered his accuser at least $10 million to settle the case in mediation, but the offer was declined. Days after the lawsuit was filed, Sharpe announced that he was temporarily stepping away from his duties as a commentary on ESPN's First Take, but would return in time for the 2025 NFL season. Sharpe has remained on his popular podcasts, Club Shay Shay and Nightcap. Okay. Gabrielle Zuniga, the OnlyFans model that accused Shannon Sharpe, retired from OnlyFans after the case was settled out of court for an undisclosed amount. All right, so Shannon Sharpe's accuser, Gabriella Zuniga, retires from OnlyFans just days after settling a $50 million lawsuit for an undisclosed amount and dropping the sexual assault case. All right, so this is her. Now, she's cute, right? But she's average. She's not beautiful. And she rejected the first $10 million offer that he gave her. And the attorneys I've seen react to this are guessing that she got $20 million. Men have to work their whole lives. Again, if you go through life thinking that you get a reward out of being a good person on this planet, you are going to go nuts. Be a good person because it's your morals, not because you expect to get anything out of it. Today, I've decided to retire from OnlyFans. Thank you for the incredible support you've shown me over the past few years. This community has given me a life that I could have never imagined. I'll still be active on social media and have several new projects in the works that I can't wait to share. I'm truly excited for this next chapter. I love you all forever and ever.